What is up, everybody? This is Chase, and welcome back to the Wellness Center podcast, where we are destigmatizing mental health one episode at a time. Everyone, I am so grateful that you guys are tuning in this week to listen to another amazing story of resilience, vulnerability, authenticity, to learn some skills and some tools that you can take into the weekend just to help lift your life up and make everyone just a little bit better. Guys, I am so super pumped for my guest today. This lady is an absolute rock star. Seriously, such a cool person. In a little bit of time, I've been able to talk with her before we started filming today. She's so energetic. She's so bubbly. She's so much fun. I am so excited to have her on and just really to dig deep into her story. I know she's going to have a really vulnerable story, some really cool experiences, some very authentic experiences. And she's also thriving at this point in her life, right? Because she's gotten to a point where she's giving back to others. So I'm so excited to learn about what she's done and some of all the things that she's had to go through so that she can learn to give back, right? And all the skills and lessons that she now teaches. So super, super excited for that, guys. Now, before we get into our epic conversation today, guys, I do just have two major asks for you. The first is to help me hit that goal of 500 YouTube subscribers. We're currently at about 218. We are well on our way. We're seeing massive growth from where we started. So please, if you're not already a part of the Wellness Center tribe, I invite you, smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, leave a comment, let my guests know about how awesome this interview was today. Right, goal again is 500 subscribers. We're well on our way. We're absolutely killing it. My next big ask for you guys today, right? Apple, Spotify, Apple and Spotify podcasts, right? That's where the lessons get out. That's where we're going to get really big. Please leave a 5-star review on Apple or Spotify, whatever platform you're on, and leave a comment as well and let us know about the episode today. And honestly, if you hated it, leave us a 5-star review and let us know why. Just leave that 5-star review. That's my big ask. So guys, without further ado, I want to bring in my awesome guest today. So guys, a little bit about this lady. She's a successful entrepreneur and owner of the Wounded Healer LLC. She's a holistic life coach who teaches fitness and Zumba for people over the age of 55. She's a licensed massage therapist and canine massage therapist. She has a best-selling book on Amazon, and she's also an experienced speaker and educator. So without further ado, we have Blanca Rodriguez on the show. Blanca, how are you doing today?
It's gonna be a fine day today, I can see. It's gonna be a fine day today, I can see. Gonna be a fine day today for you and me.
I am doing great, Chase. Thank you so much for having me here. It's a joy and an honor to be sharing with you a great conversation today.
Oh, I am so excited for it. Your energy is so high. I think we're gonna have so much fun today. It's gonna be awesome. So I'm curious. I've never met a canine massage therapist. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Canine massage therapy actually is a very ancient practice. It's been around since 2700 BC to be exact. And one of the biggest names through history that where canine massage therapy is really related to is back to Julius Caesar.
Mm.
Julius Caesar had epilepsy, and he had a massage therapist to help him with his epilepsy symptoms. Well, his massage therapist used to massage his very ferocious war dog. So he is one of those characters, one of those personalities through history that is very well known for the practices of wellness, massage therapy, and canine massage therapy. And it's been around since the Roman Empire. It was created, of course, in China, and it spread all over the planet, India, Europe, and here in the Americas. Is a pretty recent practice. It's been around since the 1970s with the introduction of equine massage, actually massage for horses, and shortly after, canine massage therapy came into light, and even the AKC, American Kennel Club, approved of the practices of canine massage therapy for the quality of life and longevity of all dogs. I have worked on competition dogs. I have worked from puppies all the way to seniors, and is extremely and incredibly noticeable the great effect that massage therapy have on our canines, because canines and us, we are mammals. We have muscle groups, organs, feelings, emotions, and we share this beautiful practice that is as effective as in humans as it is in canines. So there you go. It's a beautiful practice. I absolutely love to massage my dogs. They are happy when they see me, and every single time they're happy when they see me because they know what's coming: the massage, the treats, the love, the bonding. And besides, they really, really do and feel much better. That is a fact.
That's so cool. I didn't know canine massage therapy went all the way back to Julius Caesar. That's really,
Yes.
really interesting.
Yes.
How did you discover it?
Well, as a licensed massage therapist for here for Florida and many states in the US, it's our obligation to do continuing education every 2 years. So there is like over 80 different types of massage therapy around the world. So since this was part of my obligation, I was looking for something different. And even though horse massage called my attention, I said, wow, horses are big. Horses can be intimidating. They have massive muscle mass, and you don't know when a horse could react to something, and that could be really detrimental to my health. So I said to myself, well, sounds really attractive, but no, it's just not my thing. Then randomly, I saw a magazine about animals, and there it was. Do you want to be a canine massage therapist? And I said to myself, absolutely. And there is a school here in Florida that certifies us as canine massage therapists, and it goes with our licensing. So it's the continuing education is included with our licensing. And I said, okay, this double whammy, this is a win-win situation. And I threw myself head on to be a canine massage therapist. And I'm going on year number 9 of massaging our beloved pets and dogs that they give so much to us. So how can I not give back to them in the form of helping them improve their quality of life?
That's really cool. And I know you said that you kind of worked with like some professional dogs and that kind of stuff, or
Yes.
competitive dogs. Is there a big market for canine massage therapy?
Yes, especially with competition dogs. When if you go to a big dog show, or a big competition that is going on with canines, especially agility dogs and dogs that jump to the pool, agility competition, these are the competitions when dogs really get hurt the most.
Gotcha.
They are overexcited. They don't show pain, because showing pain in the dog world means that they could be somebody else's dinner. So they don't show pain unless it's an extreme situation. So listen up, people. If your dog is showing pain, don't walk, run to the vet, because the dog will be in a very difficult situation. So going back to agility competition, they go through accidents, falls, twists, muscle strains, sprains, concussions. They go to very similar moments that us humans can go to do a fall or extreme sports or whatever the case may be. So yes, canine massage therapy is really, really well known, especially in the competition world. And not only the American Kennel Club are very big fans of canine massage, but the Westminster Club they are huge on having canine massage therapists in their premises for before and after competition. I have done them both. I absolutely love it.
That is so cool and so unique. I've never met a canine massage therapist before. Um, could you just give us a few other cookie cutter answers as to kind of like who you are and what you're all about, so we can get to know you just a little bit better?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Of course, my name is Blanca. I was born in New York City from Puerto Rican parents. My parents, they moved to the US in search of the American dream. This was the big exodus of Puerto Ricans in the late 50s and early 60s. So my father, he was a go-getter. He was willing to take chances, and being a math teacher was not enough for him. So they both embarked, because teamwork makes the dream work. So they embark as a team. They moved to New York City. My father really, really conquered the American dream. He had businesses. He was owner of the apartment building where we used to live in New York City. And life was really, really good until tragedy struck. When I was 8 years old, my father's life was taken in his jewelry store, and life was never the same again. And this is when life was beautiful before my father's death, and then life became a total tragedy and going down that deep rabbit hole upon my father's death. My mother went into a deep depression. She never recovered from her depression. She had chronic untreated mental illness. This was the time back in the 70s when mental illnesses were thrown under the rug, when mental illnesses was taboo, when mental illness was stereotyped into, you have mental illness, your life is basically over. And I grew up around a lot of chronic untreated mental illness. It was unstable, it was inconsistent, it was confusing, it was even abusive in many times in my life. And that took me to a whole new rabbit hole of feeling lonely, not understanding grief, because I was in the culture of, if you are a strong person, you don't cry. If you're a strong person, you don't talk about the dead. You don't talk about mental illness. You don't talk about pain. You don't talk about suffering. You don't talk about being sad. And everything was sold with, it's going to be okay. We keep on going. Don't cry. Don't cry. Don't cry. So I grew up around that very, very confusing, isolating, sad. My grief lasted for a very long time. I didn't understand how to process the loss of my favorite person in the world, which was my father at the time. So that created a lot of clashing between me and my mother. And my grief with my father was more based on anger than anything else, because I was angry at him, like, why the hell did you leave me with her? And that was my question as an 8-year-old, as a 12-year-old, as an 18-year-old, as a 22-year-old. So I kept on going and going and going in this vicious circle of clashing, rebelliousness, confusion, isolation. And it took me down to a huge rabbit hole of low self-esteem, low self-worth, self-sabotage, self-destruction, because it is proven, and research shows that 2/3 of all children in the planet will have some kind of traumatic experience by the time they reach 16 to 18 years old, whether it is the tragic passing of a loved one, being bullied by family members or in school, or sexual assault. I went through all three of them by the time I turned 9 years old. I was sexually assaulted for the first time when I was 9 years old, in the middle of trying to understand my father's death. So that was even more of an isolating moment, because I was being raised by, shh, you don't talk about the dead. Shh, don't cry. Don't feel, don't. And it was everything, don't. So that shame, I grew up with a lot of shame. I grew up feeling like somehow I was responsible for what happened to me. And assault happened through my life many times, many faces, lots of harassment. So, and I kept on silence and in silence and in silence and in silence until I couldn't keep being silent anymore. So that took me to being a rebel. It took me to alcohol abuse, drug abuse, self-sabotaging, looking for something on the outside, looking for a fix, looking for something that will fill that void on the outside, when all I needed to do was take a look inside and find all the answers to all of my questions. And this is why I am here today. This is why we are here today, to talk about mental health and how important mental health is to live a better quality of life. I lived around chronic untreated mental illnesses basically my entire natural life, starting with my poor mother, that she did the best she could with
Mhm.
the little tools that she had, because she lived in a world of being stigmatized
Mhm.
because of mental illness. She was terrified to be stigmatized because she was a widow with 3 kids, and she was determined to raise us on her own.
Yeah.
So that really was a very tough time. And
Yeah.
fast forward to these days and these times when it's such a there is still a lot of progress to be done, but I am telling you, Chase, this is a world away from what it was before, and how open we are and how accepting we are that, yes, mental illness doesn't really define, and it's not going to be the end of your life. It's not the end of who you are. You can live a very productive, healthy lifestyle with mental illness. My daughter, she's 23 years old, this young woman. She has depression and she has bipolar disorder. She's 23 years old and she is an engineer. She is a dancer. She
Mhm.
lives to her own devices, and we have on a very open communication of when she is feeling sad, when she is not okay, because it is okay not to be okay. But the more she uses these tools that have been handled to her, definitely she will have better quality of life, as she does. Some days are better than others, but who doesn't have some days better than others? So the stigma with mental health, as it was back in the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, and even the 90s, is a world away from now. And this is when the pandemic helped through it all to finally this misinformation to implode and say, hey, hold on for a second. There are millions of people out there that are falling into deep depressions because of the isolation, because of the loneliness, because of things being cut off so drastically. We are beings of socialization. This
Mhm.
is the human experience. We socialize. And the moment, for example, my daughter, she was a freshman in college in 2020, and she had massive FOMO, fear of
Mm.
missing out. And it took her down to a rabbit hole that she had very, very dark thoughts. And when I say dark thoughts, she had suicidal tendencies. She was
Mhm.
ready to do something that
Mhm.
would have destroyed lives around her, like
Mhm.
mine. But thank goodness she had guardian angels that were watching over her. And she even told me the story that she was about to do something really crazy in Atlanta, and some guardian angel called her. And
Mm.
that was the one miracle that kept her here. But in the pandemic, we all know that people of all ages just kept on falling like leaves
Yeah, 2020 was
because,
brutal.
oh my God, yes, it was, because of those walls closing in and closing in and closing in, and you being so lonely,
Mhm.
not knowing what is going to come next. A lot of college students, they took their lives. A lot of people in the military, they took their lives because they had nowhere else to turn to. And this is when change had to happen.
Right.
Something had to just click. And thank goodness it is clicking. And it's clicking to 2024. Me being sitting here in Florida and you in Utah having this amazing, very important conversation about how important it is to be open to mental health issues and how we can improve our quality of life just by understanding that we don't have to do this alone.
Yeah.
There is support, and people will come to your aid. All you need to do is reach out, and people will be there, and they will not let you fall. I promise you that.
Yeah, and that's so true. And thank you so much for sharing your story, your life stuff with your daughter, your experiences as a child, the loss of your father, and just the way that your mom was doing her best, and just some of the struggles that you went with. Wow, what a crazy and unique story that you've got to live through. And I love that you bring awareness to how 2024 has been a huge year for mental health. And
Mhm.
I agree with you 100% on that. I do think that there's been a huge shift
Oh my God,
now
yes.
that once once COVID kind of lifted, end of 2023, started 2024, everyone started talking about it. And
Mhm.
people are talking about it a whole lot more. And I think that this is just the start to something truly amazing.
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
absolutely,
absolutely.
absolutely. Nobody has an idea. People in my generation, I was born in 1965. I'm in my
Hmm.
late 50s here, and growing up around mental illnesses that went untreated, that there was only one pill for every single kind of mental illness this was, and it was equals horse tranquilizer, because they will become zombies. They
Hmm.
will not have a life. It was either you're out of the pill and being in a very, very dark moment, or you will be in the pill and you are a zombie. So there was not many choices there.
Yeah.
And fast forwarding to 2024, that there's openness. And
There's a
when I
boom.
watch
Yeah.
commercials about, hey, you're not alone. There is help for the gentleman. There's help for ladies, hers, him. I'm like, oh my goodness, have we come far or what? And I bless the moment when there is this openness, that even commercial, something as simple as a commercial, makes my heart smile, because the first platform that my daughter went for help was actually through a commercial of hers. Imagine that. And
Mm.
now there is even more openness for men and mental health for men, because the pressures of society for men were incredible. You
Hmm.
are a loser if you have issues. You are a nobody if you cry. Men do not cry.
Right.
And I have heard it through many, many years. Oh, stop crying like a girl. I mean, and
Mm.
I'm being here very blunt, but this
Hmm.
is the reality. And that is a lot of pressure for the gentlemen out there that have these situations going on, because here we go again. They had no other option but throw it under the rug and survive on nothing. And definitely from that time to this time, that is much more in the open. I was having a conversation with this gentleman just last night, that we did a beautiful podcast about sexual assault on men,
Mm.
that they are sexual assault survivors. And it comes to the fact that most of these assaults happen with people that we know, with people that are close by, with
Right.
neighbors, uncles, the pastor, whoever, whatever the case may be. And it's a very, very sad situation. And it's very hard to admit. But this man, that he's Latino, and in the Latino community, let me tell you something about Latino men. You have to hide
Hmm.
whatever weaknesses you may have, because you stop being a man if you have weaknesses, if you have
Mm.
moments of weakness, moments of sensitivity, moments of simply falling apart. No,
Hmm.
you cannot fall apart here, because you stop being a man otherwise. So those pressures that existed then, they're still pretty rampant to
Hmm.
this day. But the younger generation, like yourself, what a blessing. What a blessing, what a miracle. I am so happy and grateful that the younger generations are opening up. It's like, no, let's stop the crap right here. This
Yeah.
is the way it used to be. And who got benefited from this? No one. So it's time for a change. It's time to hit that restart button. And
Yeah.
it's a beautiful thing to see it. And at my age, at this age, I'm like, yeah, I'm glad that I come from that generation, but I'm happy I'm here now seeing the beautiful results that are happening. And it's more openness, more awareness, more mindfulness, more communication, and of course, the beautiful platform that it is, podcasting, to share with the masses. And this is why we're
Absolutely.
here.
Absolutely. I love it. And thank you for everything you've shared so far up to this point. You've already talked a lot about your childhood. I do just have a couple questions for you about your childhood that kind of came into my heart. Um, you were you were in New York. Did you ever live in Puerto Rico, or do you just have Puerto Rico
Yes.
lineage?
Yes, yes. I live in New York City till I was 7 years old. Then we moved back to Puerto Rico, and that's when the tragedy with my
Yeah.
father happened. I lived in Puerto Rico for 29 years, and I've been living here in Florida for 21 years now. So
Oh,
I
okay.
moved to Puerto Rico. What's that?
No, okay. Okay. Yeah, sorry, please
Yeah,
continue.
I live in Puerto Rico for 29 years, and at age 37, I moved back to the US, and I've been here since then. So I was 7 years old when we moved to Puerto Rico. So yeah, a lot of hurricane seasons later, I moved back
Yeah.
to the US, and
That's
I'm very
cool.
happy I did. Yeah, I'm very, very happy I did. I somehow knew that I would live in the US no matter what.
That's cool. And why did your family move you back to Puerto Rico?
My mother despised New York City. She
Gotcha.
never got used to New York City. She was definitely in a lot of turmoil because she really never got used to it. She was
Gotcha.
really, really sad about it. I remember, I mean, I love to travel, but I remember where I'm from whom I learned to love to travel, and it's
Hmm.
from my mother. My mother, we were back and forth to Puerto Rico, and this was the days when flying to Puerto Rico was 8 hours. Now it's 2.5. So
Hmm.
imagine that. Change is good, change is great.
Change is good.
So, oh, change is always a fantastic thing. So, yeah. And after that, at age 37, I moved back to the US with my ex-partner and the father of my kids. And I was in a very difficult relationship with this poor soul. He was depressed. Here we go again with chronic
Hmm.
untreated mental illnesses, childhood trauma that went
Hmm.
untreated with him. He was a sexual assault survivor. One of
Hmm.
his brothers sexually assaulted him, and he went down that rabbit hole of drug addiction. He was an addict
Hmm.
all the way to the day he died. And what I keep on seeing with addiction, the face of addiction is not about the addiction per se, it's about the rooting behind the addiction. The
Hmm.
addiction is the sugar coating. The addiction is the frosting of the cake. The rooting is something much more deeper. And what do addicts do to numb the pain? Of course, getting a fix.
Right.
Yes,
Doing it again and again and
doing
getting
it
more
again
and
and
more
again
and
and again
more.
to keep on numbing and numbing that pain that they want to run away from. And
Hmm.
of course, there is no ending to trying to numb the pain. And that's when a lot of tragedy happened. And right now, I work as a massage therapist for two rehab centers for drug addiction and alcohol abuse. And I work on people from all ages,
Hmm.
all walks of life, I mean, when I tell you
Hmm.
all ages, from the very young ones to
Hmm.
people that are older than me in their 70s. And the rooting is so much deeper than the addiction. Yes, the addiction is a huge problem, but there is so much more profound than the addiction. And this is when childhood trauma comes into play and chronic untreated mental illnesses come into play hand in hand with
Right.
the addiction as well. Yes.
Yeah, it's those negative core beliefs, right? It's the roots
Mhm.
of how we behave, how we function as human beings that need to be worked
Absolutely.
on 100%.
Mhm.
So you're going through, and then you say about what time? You're about teens when you started to become a rebel?
I was a high schooler when I started to rebel.
Okay.
I tried pot for the first time when I was 17 years old. And of
Hmm.
course that was just the beginning. It was like, oh, let's just do silly things and go to the party and run home and whatever. It was like my innocent times, I call it.
Yeah.
And then after that, when I graduated from high school, that I went to college. I mean, I went to party college. I didn't do anything in college. I didn't learn anything in college. I didn't go to class in college. And
Hmm.
my mother paid thousands of dollars for me to waste my time, go party, do drugs, and be jumping from person to person to person. It was the what I called in those days the wild days. It's like, no, I call them now the self-destructive days,
Hmm.
because it was all about self-destruction. It was
Yeah.
all about numbing the pain,
Right.
numbing the pain, the grief of the loss of my father, numbing
Hmm.
the pain from sexual assault, numbing the pain from sexual harassment, numbing the pain of my low self-esteem, low self-worth, and
Hmm.
self-sabotage. And definitely that's when a lot of alcohol and a lot of drug abuse came into play. And you know what? The universe conspired for me to stay for a reason, because I could have easily been another number, another statistic of, oh, this woman, she OD'd because she was in trouble and she was a rebel and she was trouble. No, there was something much more profound going on in there. And
Absolutely.
this is when I fast forward that I am now working for these facilities.
Yeah, to help
It's
them.
like, this is one of the most important missions in my life as a massage therapist. In the 20 somewhere years that I've been doing massage therapy, it's like, this is the most important part of my massage therapy career, is
Yeah.
helping these patients, helping these good souls, good people, decent
Yeah.
people, people from everywhere, people that, where were you before this? What do you call home? Oh, I didn't have a home. I lived in my car. I was
Mhm.
homeless. I had, yeah, it was a golf cart was my home. It was a tent was my home. And all the way to the ones that are doctors, anesthesiologists, work in the Pentagon, multimillionaires. So this
Mhm.
doesn't discriminate because of social stature, because of how much money we have in our wallets. It has nothing to do with that. The
Yeah.
rooting is one thing and one thing only: trauma and untreated mental illness, unfortunately.
Yeah, which is huge. So, and thank you for sharing that. I think all of that you've shared so far is so beautiful. There's so many nuggets of gold there that people can take. I'm really curious. So you're doing this rebel, you get through the self-destructive phase. At what point in your life did you kind of have a stop and you kind of had that moment of reflection and you're like, wow, like I really need to change, right? You've been going through all this stuff. So to kind of bring in my second question, right, the heroine's journey, right? What was this extreme moment, this pivotal trial? What led up to this point in your life where you're like, man, it's really time for change?
In my story, definitely becoming a parent. What was
Gotcha.
that was my stop sign. That was the be the change aha moment. That
Mm,
really took me to a pivoted me into a whole different mind game here. Right
yeah.
before I got pregnant for my son, and then after that for my daughter, I was the party animal. I was,
Hmm.
it was a nonstop. My life was, and just because in those times, because I had a job, I had an apartment, I thought I had it all figured out. And
Hmm.
no, I was just being functional. And that was basically my
Yeah.
reality. And then I got pregnant for my son and for my daughter. And this is what happens. I didn't give life to my kids.
Hmm.
My kids gave me a new opportunity on bring myself back to life, to a place where I am meant to be, to a place where there's something bigger than myself to
Hmm.
take care of. There's a new mission that has nothing to do with me. And yes, it has a lot to do with me, but it had to do with, what am I going to do? Am I going to continue this generational destruction that
Hmm.
that this is my path just because of my past, just because of my mother's past, because my
Hmm.
mom came from abuse herself, from extreme poverty herself. She had her own story to tell that took her to the path of destruction, to the path of self sabotage. And it was time to answer that real question that was kicking me in the ass, saying, what are you going to do now? And what was I going to do at that time? Change had to happen.
Yeah.
It became an obligation. It became my mission in life. And that's why I moved to Florida,
Hmm.
go back to school for massage therapy, which was one of the biggest miracles in my life,
Hmm.
being a massage therapist, because that's when I discovered holistic wellness, alternative health. So this was all part of the plan. And I went to school for it. It's like, well, how am I going to do this? How am I going to comply with my clients, with my patients, if I don't practice what I preach? And
Mm. Good
even more,
realization there.
yes, absolutely. And I was saying to myself, I grew up in this way, and this doesn't mean in any way or form that my kids are going to grow up the same way. And mind you, I was in the middle of a relationship plagued with domestic abuse. So that was
Mm.
another one. It was like after going to school and become a massage therapist, I started to work. And domestic abuse is not only about physical abuse, it's about emotional and mental abuse. So this person, unfortunately, he really instilled in my mind that I was nothing without him, that I wouldn't make it in this world without him.
Mm.
And when I started to work and pay my way and pay his bills and pay my bills, I said, really? Is that so? I am nothing without you? I'm putting this into real question. So that's when my life kept on pivoting even more. The change just kept on coming and coming. And to start my healing process, my real healing process, I went to counseling, I went to group counseling. I didn't do it on my own because I was tired to trying to go throughout life on my own terms.
Right.
And this was when low self-esteem and low self-worth came into play. I thought that I wasn't worth anybody's time, anybody's effort, anybody's support. So it was this vicious circle going around and around and around and not coming out of it. But when I reached out for help for the first time, that was another door that opened of people receiving me with open arms.
Mm-hmm.
People seeing my potential when I didn't see anything on myself. People seeing what are my capabilities when I didn't even know consciously that I had those capabilities.
Right.
And
It's such a powerful experience to
yes,
get with that group, right? Wherever you're at in life for your first time and say, whoa, I need this community. I need help.
oh
Right. And to
yeah.
have that community just receive you with so much love, right?
Mhm.
Especially because I think there's a lot of people that are gonna, kind of resonate with you. I know I do, on that mentality of like, I had to do it on my own. I had to be tough. I had to figure it out. Wait, I can't do this on my own anymore. I need
Exactly.
a community. And then,
Mhm.
yeah, just being received with that love is so powerful.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And this, I mean, thanks to this amazing community of,
Mhm.
I mean, I had a tribe of people. I didn't know how many people were supporting me on my journey until I left this person. And it was, I mean, that defining moment was when, of course, we had one of the million fights that we had, and that was the last straw. It was the last drop to overflow the cup. And I don't remember what was the fight about, but the moment that this poor man, I feel compassion for him. He's been
Mhm.
dead for many years now, and his demise was terrible. So I feel a lot of compassion for him. But the last drop was him saying, you know what? You and your kids can go F yourselves. And I said,
Mm.
okay, I think this is the drop that overflew everything.
Time to
And
go.
this is what I did. I had $89 in my bank account, a car that was falling apart, and I took my kids and I said, I'd rather sleep under the bridge in my car than spend another second in this house with you. And I never looked back. And it was the best thing that happened to me. And upon that moment, there are always guardian angels that will come to your aid. I promise you that. There was this woman called Faye. Faye is my guardian angel, literally. She passed away years ago, but
Mhm.
she somehow found out of the ordeal that I was going through. And of course, I made sure that I hid it because nobody outside myself knew what I was going through. I was a master on lying to myself and putting a happy face no matter what. I was a showgirl, literally. And
Mhm.
she found out, and a group of people got together. They gave me a goodie bag and they said, watch that bag with your life. There's some gifts for you in there. Some gifts for me in there was $2,500 that everybody got together and they gave this to me. I had 3 jobs. I said, I'm set. What a miracle in my life. Oh my God. And definitely the support is there. People will come to your aid, and especially when you're in these moments of truth that is like, okay, this is either go or drown. And
Right.
drowning was never an option in my life. And here I am, all those years later. I left this man, and after I left him, I wrote down the 10 most important things that I wanted in a special person in my life. This person didn't have a face, didn't have a body. I didn't know who this person will be. I was reading a lot of self-help books, and I said, this is not the end of that. This is not the end. I just haven't met the perfect person yet. I haven't met this person that I call my best friend, my lover, my companion, my rock. And I made that list. I read it every single day. I said it out loud. 3 months later, I met my now husband. 3
Hey,
months later, and we have a beautiful relationship. We've been 11 years married now, and he is the meaning of what a gentleman is. And this is absolutely wonderful. From where I used to be to how things are now, it's definitely, it's like, wow, I am very thankful. Very thankful to still be
congratulations.
here and be able to share the tale. Definitely.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing your tale. What a beautiful story. What a beautiful
Thank
life
you.
you've had the opportunity to live. I'm curious. So I know you kind of mentioned like writing down the 10 things you want in a spouse and all the self-help books you were reading. What were some of the other skills that you had to develop over time? Right, that have kind of helped you find this place of peace and freedom.
Definitely, the power of manifestation is one of the biggest tools that we can have that is really, really effective in our lives. Because the same way that we manifest and we say, oh my God, I'm stressed all the time. I'm stressed all the time. What are you saying to yourself? That you're stressed all the time. So you will keep on being stressed all the time
Mhm.
versus saying, I deserve to have a beautiful life. I deserve to be with a nice person. I deserve to have beautiful relationships. I deserve to have a healthy lifestyle, because the moment we step into our power, there's no turning back from that one. And definitely from where I used to be, that I thought I was worth nothing, to my reality now that yes, I have something important to say. Yes, I have something important that can be useful for someone, that can be inspiring for someone, to or anyone. One person that I can help makes my day, just one person. And that definitely defined who I am today. And being accepting of the fact that we are beings of change. When we change our mindset, our lives will change. This is the rules of growth.
Mhm.
Growth and contribution. When we grow, we evolve. When we are in a mindset of growing, better things always come, because we are embracing new things to come. We are open to what's coming out there. We are open to learning. And the more we learn, the more we know. And please, people, learn from any single generation that there is out there. Don't limit yourself to say, oh, an old dog cannot learn new tricks. Oh, I heard that crap many times in my life. Well, this is the thing. We're not dogs. We're humans. And that's
Uh-huh.
the beauty of being humans, that yes, we can learn new things. Our minds are built, our brain is built for learning, because we are either evolving or dissolving. I'd rather evolve. I will go straight that way. And this is when growth happens and when beautiful things happen, and great results always do follow.
Absolutely love it. And that is so true. Thank you so much. So, Blanca, we're getting close on time here, and that's totally okay. But so kind of looking back at your life, right? Everything you had to go through, all of those hard experiences, those trials, those traumas, those destructive phases, these growth phases, all of it. What can you appreciate about the journey that you've been on up to this point in your life?
The thing that I most appreciate about this journey, that it was all with a purpose. And the purpose was bigger than myself. The purpose was more important than I would even imagine in
Mhm.
my life. And the purpose is to learn the lesson of having empathy, exercising compassion for the ones that didn't have this blessing of opening up to growth, like my beloved mother. I forgave my mother a very long time ago, and my mother has advanced dementia right now. I just came back from Puerto Rico from taking care of my mother, and the more I see her story, the more compassionate I am. And the more I see her decline and how cruel this condition is, the more I exercise love and understanding. It's like, this is where you used to be. This is the life that you chose for yourself, and it has nothing to do with me. And I cannot thank her enough for the lessons, because even though the lessons and the path was very, very rocky, difficult, unstable, cruel, it was the path for me to growth, to learn the lesson and to learn from her on what to do and what not to do as a woman, as a mother, as a friend. So I cannot thank my mother enough, and I honor her every single day of my life. And of course, I do honor my father. And his loss is nobody's fault. It just happened that way. And it's amazing when we exercise forgiveness from the heart, not just saying it, oh, I forgive you, I forgive, not just saying it, but meaning it from the bottom of your heart. Change really does follow. And I'm in a state of calm, and I will keep on honoring both of my parents to the day of my passing, because thanks to them, I am here now. Thanks to them, I learned all of these lessons on how to help others improve their quality of life through maybe the help of my story or what I've been through, maybe through the help of me staying silent for so long and understanding that it really doesn't work that well. And
Right.
yeah, it really doesn't work that way. It doesn't work at all, actually.
Right.
And being open to receive more, being open to ask for help more. And that I definitely learned from my mother's story of her silence. I learned it from my own story of my silence, and it was all generational. But when you cut that generational trauma out of your life and say, nah, this is my life and this is how I'm going to roll from now on, beautiful things do follow. And I'm very, very grateful for every single thing, because definitely, like I said before, it was part of a bigger picture that I really didn't understand at that time. And I do totally get it now. And it's a beautiful thing.
That's amazing. Congratulations to you,
Thank
Blanca.
you. Thank you.
What an astonishing place to get to in your life. And
Thank
so
you.
I've got one more question for you. So
Sure.
for those people just getting into the realm of mental health, for those people just discovering that they need to grow, right? What advice do you have for those people specifically?
Go to the most important sources of information. Go to
Okay.
sources of information that are legitimate, please.
Love it.
Don't just go, let me see, for example, don't just go to a social media platform and go to a random page and say, hey, I'm feeling this way, because it can take you to a very confusing place, and it'll confuse you even more. The more, and it's not about keeping this to yourself, it's about getting the proper help from the proper resources.
Right.
Like, for example, I believe in podcasting with a purpose. I've been a guest podcaster with people from all over the planet, MD, sociologists, psychologists, psychotherapists, and here we are, you and I, right now.
Right.
We have a purpose, and is to bring some help and some light to people that are in confusion street, so to speak, and they are in a limbo about, what am I going to do? What sources should I go to? Please go to the most legitimate sources of help. Be very specific on your needs and ask for that specific help, and help will come to you. There will be, the first thing that there will be is no judgment. Nobody is pointing at you with the finger, because if anybody dares pointing at you with the finger or being judgmental, you're in the wrong place, buddy. You need to go the other way and go to a place where there's no judging, no pointing fingers, and all you feel is loved, understood, and supported. You will find this place. I promise you that.
That's amazing. Thank you. And if that's you listening to it right now and you're not sure of that place, we're going to talk about Blanca's contact information in a little bit. You can reach out to me here. We can find and help you find the resources that you need.
Absolutely.
Right. If you don't know, there are people who do. And,
Mhm.
and Blanca and I are two of those people that can help. So
Absolutely.
Blanca, thank you so much for your time. Holy cow,
Thank you for having me, Chase.
what a packed full episode today of truth and beauty and knowledge and stories. I was hanging on to every word. This was so much fun. For those people that are interested in like your massage services, your canine massage services, I know you work with 55 plus people as a life coach and a fitness coach. Where can people find you?
Yes, absolutely. My website is www.woundedhealer.us, and you can email me at blanca@woundedhealer.us. And of course, my phone number, 772-475-0126. Text me. I am here for you. And for all the listeners, I am offering a complimentary life coaching session. So maybe if you are in a little bit of confusion street, maybe with my help, I can point you in the right direction on where to go and what is the next step to take. I'm here
Perfect.
to help. I'm here to serve,
And
definitely.
all of her contact information is going to be in the description, as well as that little coupon for the free complimentary life coaching session. So Blanca, one more time, thank you so, so much for your time.
Thank you so much for having me, Chase. What an honor and a joy it was to be here with you today. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. And for those people that are listening up to this point, thank you so much for tuning into this entire episode. Please make sure to leave a 5-star review for Blanca and just let her know about all of the amazing truths, the gold nuggets, the knowledge, the skills, the lessons, the stories, everything that she left for you guys today. She put it all on the table for you. So yeah, please make sure to leave that 5-star review. Please make sure to like and subscribe to this channel. Guys, I'm always looking for guests. I'm always looking for the next amazing story of resilience. I want you to understand that no story is too big. No name is too small. If you have a story, I want to share it all. Please contact me at chase@thewellnesscenter.life. That's chase@thewellnesscenter.life. If you want to know more about what I do on my day-to-day basis, please go to www.thewellnesscenter.life, where red light therapy rejuvenates every single cell in your body, one session at a time. Everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. We hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and we will see you on the flip side. Peace out.